Hello, folks. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report. It is Tuesday, September 13th, about 8:30 Central Time, my time. If you're watching this video, please subscribe, like, and share. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers so I can start doing live shows, collaboration shows, other stuff like that. Right now, it's just me and my galaxy. The bigger the show gets, the better it will get. I guarantee you that. It's free. Just press that subscribe button and like button, please. Now, I didn't cut a video yesterday because I had to really wrap my mind around what all happened Sunday night, which was a big clusterfuck. I've heard rumors and theories that Stephen Jones has a vendetta against Dak, and that's the reason why he hasn't given him the proper weapons that he needs this season. Because we all know Dak can be good, but Dak can't carry a team. Dak can't carry a short-handed offense. Dak needs weapons, 2 or 3 good receivers, a decent line and back, and a good tight end to be effective. And going against that Tampa defense with just CeeDee Lamb, and you got Noah Brown at receiver 2 and receiver 3, Malik Turner. I mean, no, that's number 17 throwing me off. Whoever the hell that Dennis Houston. Having Noah Brown as receiver 2 and Houston receiver 3, I didn't even really see Fehoko in there. It's just not working, and CeeDee Lamb is not quite ready to be that solo number 1. Couple drops, key drops that he just can't have. So when I did my last video with about 9 minutes left to go, that was before Dak went out. I thought they just took him out of the game, put Cooper Rush in. But as you know, he's got hand injury on his throwing hand. Original diagnosis 6 to 8 weeks. Jerry Jones says he's not putting him on IR. Hopes that he could be back against Washington or the Rams. I highly doubt that. I believe it's possible he could be back against Philly. I do believe that, week 6. If he can grip the ball the way he needs to. But this could either be a blessing in disguise or it could just be our demise. One of the two. You saw the exact same thing happen to the Saints in 2019. And what did they do? The whole team rallied around the backup quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater, which for us is Cooper Rush. The defense played lockdown. The defense played opportunistic, got takeaways every chance they could get. Special teams was special. And Bridgewater was game manager and just didn't make the big mistake. Now, we only scored 3 points against Tampa, and that was on the very first drive. After that, a goose egg. Tyler Smith was a nice surprise. Played very good at left tackle when he was at left guard all off season. He can play both positions. Week 2, this is what needs to happen. And I believe will happen because Farniak cannot start a left guard against Cincinnati. Time for Jason Peters to move into his spot at left tackle. Move Tyler Smith over to left guard. Tyler Smith run blocks super well. So does Zach Martin and Terrence Steele. I know Steele had 4 penalties. 3 of them came on 1 drive. He's a good right tackle. Take those penalties away. Zach Martin and Jason Peters. Zach Martin only had 2 penalties all last year. Peters only had 3. That's 5 right there with you 2 offensive linemen that you can count on not getting a lot of flags. And at the guard spot, I don't see Smith getting a lot of flags either. And Biadash actually played pretty good too. So this is going to work for the duration of Prescott being out. Our defense has to clamp down against Cincinnati, just like Pittsburgh did. I mean, just beat up Burrows, get a good amount of takeaways, give our offense a few short fields to get some easy points on the board. Let our special teams flip field position or make splash plays. And defense play shutdown. And Cooper Rush, who I mean, he played great against Minnesota, even though he had more weapons. But if we can get the running game going effectively, and I believe with Peters at left tackle and Smith at left guard, be it as playing the way he did last night, 2 nights ago, and the Hall of Famers Zach Martin and Terrence Steele, that our run game should be very effective with a 2 tight end set. Schultz and Ferguson. Ferguson's a very good blocker too. Zeke Elliott looked pretty good. We just abandoned the run again when we started getting down. I don't know. Dak Prescott, broke his throwing hand late in the game, but looked like he was having problems before that because he was throwing some horrific footballs. On the first drive, he was throwing some dimes. I mean, we had a bad reverse play blow up on our face, lost 8 yards, and we got it back. Got 8 yards the second play, it was 3rd and 10. And Dak hits Lamb over the middle for like 25 yards on a beautiful play. We convert 3 third downs on that drive. It stalls out, we get 3 points. That drive looked pretty good. But after that, nothing. We're able to get an interception at midfield, and that turned into nothing. So, like we were saying all off season, it has to start with the run. If Cooper Rush has a healthy run game, that will make his life a lot easier. And not a trick run game, but a run game where, I believe with Jason Peters, Smith, Biadash, Martin, and Steele, that we can run the ball at will and stuff it down the defensive line's throats. Because not everybody has a Tampa Bay defensive line. With 2 big tackles in Vita Vea and Hakeem Hicks. So, for this to happen, the team has to rally around Rush. The team has to come together as a one. Defense has to play top notch. We saw Micah Parsons. Looks like he hasn't missed a beat. What TJ Watt did at Cincinnati week 1, Micah Parsons can do the exact same thing, if not better. Get Joe Burrow in a few distress passes. Get a strip sack. Get a few short fields. Run the ball effectively. We can beat Cincinnati. We saw Philadelphia barely inked by Detroit by 3 points because Bradbury got a pick 6. Jared Goff put 35 points up on that awesome defense that they have with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, James Bradbury, Jordan Davis, Hassan Reddick. If the Lions can put up 35 points on them, Lions don't have a defense. So they lit up 31 on defense. Offense lit up 7. When they played Minnesota Monday night, you saw what Minnesota did at Green Bay. Justin Jefferson went off. If Goff put up 35 on that Philly defense, what do you think Minnesota's offense is going to do? 55, 63? And the damn sure not going to lit up 31 on defense with Daniel Hunter, Eric Hendricks, Harrison Smith and company. And Jalen Hurts keep running the ball like he does. He was their leading rusher last year, their leading rusher week 1. He's going to get popped eventually and miss some time. Washington at home against Jacksonville. Barely inked that one out. Carson Wentz played a bad game. Turned the ball over several times. The only team that looked good, decent, was the Giants. Coming back against Tennessee, at Tennessee, even though Tennessee's not the same Tennessee they were last year or the year before. And then, instead of tying the game, going for the 2-point conversion and going for the win. They're just lucky that Randy Bullock hooked that field goal to the left. Other than that, they played the best out of everybody in the division. We have what it takes to beat Cincinnati. The Super Bowl hangover is real. I've been saying that. The only team I've seen beat the Super Bowl hangover is the 2018 Patriots after they lost to Philadelphia in the Super Bowl the season before. They came back and beat the Rams the following year. Look at everybody who's lost the Super Bowl for the last 20 years, 30 years. Super Bowl hangover is real. Except for the Buffalo Bills in the early 90s. They kept coming back for more 4 times. So, I hear reports that Mike McCarthy doesn't know the offensive scheme and the playbook after being in his third year. Brian Broaddus is the one that reported that. Don't know if it's real or not. I believe it because of everything that he's lied about already. I believe that he's lazy enough not to know the offensive scheme and play calling. That's why he doesn't get involved in that part of the game. So what does he do? Nothing, really. When we had a coaching search, we had McCarthy and Marvin Lewis, and that was it. Mike McCarthy drinks Jerry's beer and eats his nachos, and he's our head coach because the rules say you have to have one. That's it. He does nothing at all, and he cannot motivate anybody if his heart depended on it. So we're going to rely on Dan Quinn, Bones Fossil, and Kellen Moore to get his head together and get this offense going. Our defense can hold Tampa Bay to 19. Even though Tampa's offensive line was maligned, they didn't play that bad. They played pretty good. And Julio Jones looked like Julio Jones of old. And they had Mike Evans. They had Pierman. They had Godwin for a quarter and a half. They started him too soon. I knew that was going to happen. And he aggravated his hamstring. But we hold Tampa Bay to 19. We can hold anybody under 20 points. This defense is that good. We held KC to 19 in Arrowhead last season. So for the duration of Prescott being out, our defense needs to hold teams to minimal scoring. Get 3 and outs a lot more than last, against Tampa. Tampa was bend but don't break kind of. Field goals, except for that one touchdown of Mike Evans they gave up. Micah Parsons single-handedly prevented 3 points because he got a sack on that third down, which Tom Brady had somebody open and he could have scored a touchdown, and they missed the field goal. And on the following drive, they're inside the 10. I think they're at the 5. About to score, and Micah Parsons gets another third down sack. Changes a touchdown into a field goal. That's 7 points right there Micah Parsons saved. I think he's got a good shot at being Defensive Player of the Year. Khalil Mack had 3 sacks and a forced fumble. Von Miller had 2 sacks. Micah Parsons had 2 sacks. TJ Watt, I think, had 2. And Mike is just getting started. The defense is just getting started. They're going to get better throughout the season. So if this team can come together, and despite Mike McCarthy and despite the Joneses, if they can come together as a one cohesive unit, and the defense can play shut down and be opportunistic and get the ball to their offense with some short fields a few times a game for the next few games, and our special teams can be special, especially with our new return man. He got introduced to the NFL against Tampa Bay, realized it wasn't the USFL. He will adjust, and I believe he will dazzle us. Turpentine. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And we need to get that run game going like it should be going. And if we get that starting 5, it should run very smoothly instead of the play action for rush during the duration of Dak's absence. Now, yes, babe? Oh, my wife. So, one thing I would love is if Cooper Rush went on a run and say Dak is out 4 or 5 games and we're 4-5-1 after that stretch. Would we see a Romo Dak situation with Rush and Dak? Would we keep Cooper Rush on the field if by the bye week we're 6-2, 7-1? I don't know. We'll see. But if we're gonna survive this season, that's how we're gonna do it. Because our division does not look very impressive at all. I mean, my wife is distracting me very bad right now. You have no idea what she's doing. If I were a weaker man, I would not be able to get through this video. If you saw what Philly and Washington looked like, very unimpressive. Against bad teams, you're supposed to beat bad teams easily. Just like we did last season. Every time we played a bad team, we blew them out. Philadelphia was that close to losing the game. Washington was that close to losing the game at home against Jacksonville. Philly at Detroit. And the Giants did beat Tennessee. I give them credit there. But if we can beat Cincinnati week 2, who has a Super Bowl hangover, and their offensive line is not any better than it was last year. I told everybody Lyle Collins is washed up. He got whooped week 1. Their offensive line does not look any better than it did last year. Our defense can really feast on that. And if our defense can take over this game week 2, and we can pull out this win and be 1-1, just like we were last year after the first 2 games against tough opponents. Then we got Washington, the Giants, and Washington after that. And I believe we can win those 2 games because those are not juggernauts by any means. And our defense can shut down those offenses. But Saquon did look pretty good. But we got to see if he can keep it up because he's not been able to be healthy since his rookie season. So that's that, guys. Look for that. We're not trading for a quarterback. So don't get your hopes up for a Garoppolo trade or anything like that. The Joneses aren't going to spend a 7th round pick. Even if San Fran said just give us a 7th and we'll give you Jimmy G. The Cowboys wouldn't do it. Because Stephen Jones does not know how to run. He doesn't know how to be a general manager. And Jerry Jones is letting Stephen do what he wants, and I don't understand. If we would have signed the free agents that we could have signed this offseason with the money that we had, we would have beat Tampa Bay if we would have had Will Fuller out there and Ndamukong Suh in the middle of the field. So Fournette couldn't run wild like he did. And we would have had another receiver besides CeeDee Lamb that teams fear. But no, they want to keep that money. Drafting and developing is good, but you got to fill in the gaps of free agents. So the season's not over by a long shot, 17-game season. It's week 1. Every single season that we've lost the first game since 2014 has worked out well for us. So, 2014 lost week 1, 2016 lost week 1, 2018 lost week 1, last year lost week 1. So, hopefully that trend continues, but we'll see. That's about it for this episode, guys. Please subscribe, like, share. That would mean the world to me. And I'll hit you up later this week, guys. Charles in Charge is out.